My senior officer directed me to prepare the reports. I did so. I passed them to that senior officer,
Yes.
who passed them up the line to the customs manager of the airport.
And it was that latter person who rejected them?
Correct.
What did your own line manager, what did he do?
Expressed unhappiness,
Thank you. Thanks, Senator.
put it mildly. When the more comprehensive report was also rejected out of hand, the senior officer was ropeable. There's no other way of describing it, as was the rest of the team. You see, it wasn't just my reports. Everybody had input into these reports. The other officers in that unit, some of them have been there 15 years purely on this sort of job. They knew inside and out. I merely did the statistical research, the intelligence research and analysis to formulate the problems which they had identified over the years.
So, just not wanting to jump forward, but as the gentleman who did the rejecting, was he the gentleman who subsequently resigned and joined Qantas?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Senator Xenophon. So I understand that now.
With Senator Xenophon's indulgence, Mr Kessing, I just want to clarify a couple of very important points. And I can go back 11 years when this committee was doing the MSIC inquiry, which was after ASIC. Who issued the ASIC cards?
The Airport Corporation.
Sydney Airport Corporation.
That's correct.
Okay,
The
thank you.
commercial entity.
Thank you very much for now. Yep, I get that.
Question. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. So the second report wasn't acted on, even though it showed quite some shocking details of people
Across the board, rather than just one area, yes.
Yes, okay. That wasn't acted upon. There was great frustration in the covert unit about that.
And my senior officer demanded a sit-down with the Customs Airport manager to explain why it was being rejected. And we were told quite simply that the commercial costs involved in complying with the Customs Act would be too onerous for the now privatised Airport Corporation.
That's the answer you're given.
That was in so many words, that was the answer.
Okay.
And it was also made clear to us that our activities were not welcome, bearing in mind the facilitation over interdiction ethos which had been part of customs.
So what do you mean, that facilitation over? What does that mean?
It was a new way of looking at customs activities which was introduced in the mid-90s. If there was ever a chance of we were always to err on the side of letting something go rather than interdict. It was to facilitate imports of legitimate cargo and persons crossing the border, as distinct from being concentrated upon interdiction.
Right.
Excuse me, Senator, can I just clarify something there? Mr Kessing, so is it fair to say that that response was about any cost to implement changes to improve security when you were talking we're just going to be too much? Is that part of... Okay, thank you.
And all the changes that would have been needed would have been changes which would be borne by the commercial entities, the Airport Corporation, Qantas and the other private companies which operate behind the lines. It would not have incurred an official cost, because it is the duty, as stated by Section 15 and Section 19 of the Customs Act.
Was a cost discussed? Sorry, Senator. Was a cost discussed?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Merely that they would be onerous, because what we had found, apart from the individuals involved, what we'd found was too many instances of contravention of customs directions.